But yeah, Ange hasn't done his presser today. He's doing it tomorrow at 9:15.
Yeah.
So we won't know like team news and stuff ahead of this game.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll start off with a predicted lineup, and let's go from what we kind of know already. Look, more things come to light tomorrow, but I don't think anyone did get injured in the game yesterday. So what do we know?
Yeah, it didn't look like it. All we know is that there's a chance Son may get some minutes on the weekend. That's what Ange was saying. So he's kind of a doubt. But we know for sure that Maddison, Dragoshin and Bergvall are all definitely injured. So they're not going to be available. They're long-term injuries. I think all three of them, their seasons are over. Other than that, it didn't look like anyone else was struggling with anything. Although the bench was starting to look worryingly thin last night, wasn't it? A bit. So that's got a bit of a concern. But yeah, I think those are the only players out, it looks like. Potentially, hopefully Son gets some minutes.
Yeah, you're starting to see all the kids back on the bench again, which is a bit of a worrying sign. But look, let's try and make a stab of what we think this team is going to be. So are we going to see Kinski in goal finally?
Are we going to see Kinski in goal? Is this going to be the game? I still don't think so, unfortunately.
No, it'll be Vicario in goal, who hasn't been great in the Premier League. But
I actually think what will happen is Kinski might actually play the last game of the season after the final.
Maybe, yeah.
That's what I think.
So look, Vicario in goal. In terms of right back, are we going to see Archie Gray there? Or are we going to see Spence there? Porro keeper's place? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Gray. I think
Gray.
he's been playing Gray there for the last couple of games. So it looks like he's fancied more.
Last game, I think.
Well, played him there against Wolves and against West Ham.
Well, Wolves was a while ago, but yeah.
No. Wolves, West Ham, and in midfield he played against Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think he took him back to midfield, so back to fullback. So I think he's going to play at fullback. That's my prediction.
Yeah, so I mean, Gray at right back, right centre back will be Danso.
Yeah. Danso comes in, for sure.
Left centre back will be Ben Davis. And left back will be Jed Spence.
Our trusted B team backline.
Yeah, so that was the exact backline against West Ham, the exact same. So Archie Gray right back, Jed Spence left back, Ben Davis and Danso as the centre back pairing. Moving into the midfield is where it gets a bit tricky. Well, we don't have too many options, so maybe it's not too tricky.
Well, the one we definitely know is Sarr.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's definitely going to be playing that. So it's who's next to him. I guess probably Decky in the 10. Can't really see anyone else. So it's basically it's where it's going to be Bentancur, Basuma next to him. And last game went for Basuma.
Do you feel like he could give Basuma a rest this game just because he's played 2 back-to-back games?
And Bentancur got a rest a lot last time.
Yeah, play Bentancur in this game and then give Bentancur a rest on the Friday.
And play Basuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, to be honest. I think he's probably going to start Bentancur in this one. And you'll start Basuma on Friday with the same other two.
Yeah, so a midfield 3 of Sarr, Bentancur and Kulusevski. On the right-hand side of the attack, I do think it's going to be Odobert.
I agree. I think Wilson starts.
On the left, I've got a feeling it'll be Tell, but it would be nice to see Mikey Moore, but I think it'll be Tell, with Mikey Moore getting some minutes off the bench.
I think the only way maybe we see more from the start is if we play Tell up front, potentially, with Rishi maybe now entering that A team. But
I don't think he likes Tell up front, to be honest.
No, I don't think he likes Tell up front either. So I think Tell will get more minutes on that left-hand side.
And then up front, it's either Solanke or Richarlison. And look,
Richarlison or Diamond Dane?
No, I don't think it will be Dane. I think it will be Richarlison, to be honest, because I think Solanke just put so much into that game.
He played 90 minutes as well.
Yeah, and Richarlison has come off early in the last couple of games. Yeah, I think it'll be Richarlison up top.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be the lineup. Who leaves who on the bench? You've got the likes of Solanke.
So it leaves
Brennan,
on the bench
Moore.
So the bench against West Ham was Ajayi, Bentancur, so Basuma this time, Brennan Johnson, Kinski, Moore, Porro, Romero, Udogie, Van de Ven.
Okay.
And maybe Son.
And maybe Son, maybe Son on the bench would be really, really nice to see him get some minutes.
Yeah.
Which would mean probably Mikey definitely doesn't get minutes though, but yeah, we need Son. We need Son to get back up to speed as soon as possible.
You never know though, Mikey could also come on at right wing.
True. He could.
So look, this is the team that we're going to go for to face Crystal Palace on Sunday, which is Vicario in goal, Gray right back, Spence left back, Davis and Danso in the centre back pairing, Sarr, Bentancur and Kulusevski as a midfield three, Odegaard on the right, Tell on the left, and Richarlison up top. It's not the weakest team.
No, it's a team that we've pretty much been playing in most of the Premier League games. Hasn't really been great, but maybe they're starting to get a bit of cohesion because they've been playing together so regularly. Let's hope.
Maybe, but yeah, look, as the Premier League just goes on, it's just like it's gathering less and less importance as these games go on, aren't they?
Exactly, and that's the reality.
And I think like, as fans were getting angry prior to maybe the Bodo first leg or the Frankfurt second leg, I just feel like after the West Ham game, there were hardly any angry fans.
Yeah.
It was just like, it is what it is now. And I think this game will be the exact, probably even less so.
Yeah, I agree. I think, to be honest, I think both Tottenham and Palace are probably feeling this game is just something we have to get through.
I reckon it could be like 0-0 this game.
Yeah, it could easily just be like both teams just want to play this out because both teams, the number one thing for both teams is no injuries.
Yeah.
More important than the result.
So look, yeah, like you said, so what is there to even like preview about this game, to be honest? Because it's like two teams with absolutely nothing to play for. Spurs got a Europa League final to get ready for. They've got an FA Cup final to get ready for.
When's the FA Cup? Is it after? Is the weekend after the Europa League? Is that when it is?
So. Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, they do not want to be getting any injuries in this.
This is their last game before the FA Cup final.
Yeah. Oh, so for sure, this is just a game that both sets of fans like. Do you want to just agree on a short share point? Like,
no one's going to be going into the 50-50s. No one's going to be being overly aggressive in this game. No one's going to be overly exerting themselves. I would say probably if both teams are going to make a lot of changes, then maybe the new players coming in trying to fight their way into that FA Cup final team or Europa League final team. So maybe you'll see an element of that in there. But I still feel like you're going to see most players pulling out of 50-50s and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if Glasson has said anything about him resting players or anything like that for this game. All I can see is he said Wharton has been ruled out, but I'll see if I can get any quotes from him if he said anything about changes. But this is a massive, it's a massive game for them. This is probably as big for Palace as the Europa League final is for us.
Yeah,
and I think
maybe even bigger. Like, when's the last time they were in an FA Cup final?
Well, it wasn't that long ago actually, because Pardew, remember? Pardew did that silly dance. The silly dance. So that was in 2016. They lost to Van Gaal, I think. Van Gaal's Man United. So I think, Palace are not gonna. I agree. It's going to be a game where just both teams don't want any injuries. They're going to be very cautious, I think. Yeah, I agree. Maybe some of them, if Palace are going to rest players, then I think a lot of those players probably want to win their place in the final team and will give it their all. Maybe same with some of the Spurs players. But if you're looking at the terms of the decisions that Ange will probably have to make ahead of the final, it's really only the winger positions probably that's up for grabs. You'd have to say I think all the other positions are really on lock at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. Is there a chance that if Sarr has some top performances in the next couple of games that he can take Basuma's spot?
Yeah, I guess there's a case for it. Maybe Sarr could win a spot if he really kills it over these next two games. But even then, in a final, do you trust that the more experienced head of Basuma, or do you go with Sarr? It's a difficult one, but because Basuma's played well. But yeah, for sure, I guess that's another one that's probably up for grabs. Those three. I
think it's mainly the wingers, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for sure, Odegaard and Tell by no means are they out of the running for starting in that game. Considering as well, like that Johnson and Rishi did quite well, but like they didn't do well enough where you can say they're locked in by any stretch. Yeah. And I think if Tell and Odegaard have really strong performances, I think there's a good chance they could make that team for the final.
I do think actually Brennan Johnson is going to be nailed on for the final. Not because of what he... First of all, in a final, to have someone with his positional play and the way he can arrive at the box at a perfect time, that's invaluable. But the two away legs, the defensive performance that he's put in, I don't think Odegaard is capable of that. You know what I mean? And he's not capable of scoring as many goals in the season. It's just not something we've seen of him as of yet. So I do think Brendan Johnson is probably nailed on for the team, to be honest.
Yeah, I think his team his position is pretty strong at the moment. I would say I wouldn't say he's as nailed on as say like a Bentancur or a, Romero, Van der Ven, a Doggy, Porro, these kind of players. But
he's more
like,
nailed on than Richarlison. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. He's like right now. I think Odegaard is going to have like a really strong showing to convince Ange to knock him off. Whereas like someone like Tell. He has to just be good. I don't think he has to absolutely kill it to maybe win that spot. Whereas Odegaard, I think maybe does.